Okay, it says we're live. Yes, it does. It says we're live. Welcome from the crossroads of America. Talk show about guns, politics, or anything else that crosses my mind. Answer questions from the audience. You can either put them in the chat or email me at rickslifeasiseeit@gmail.com or spottedrick@gmail.com. I have a Patreon page, PayPal, T-shirts, all that good junk. Well, I wouldn't call it junk, but you know what I mean, all down there in the information section if anybody's interested. So there we go. Let me see. We got people coming in the chat already. Let's see who we got. First in was Kingpin, then Rich White, then Mystic Guns, John Z. Who else we got? Raphael's here, so people are starting to trickle in. So that's good. And so let's do my panel real quick. Up here in the corner, we got Guns and Barbecue. How you doing?
Doing all right. Thanks for the invite, Rick.
No problem. Oh, Southpaw RX just jumped in the chat, that is. And we got New York Outcast. How you doing?
Doing well. Thanks for having me. Hello, everybody.
Then we got the good old Kingpin. How you doing? He might be working. That's why he's not hasn't said much.
Yo.
Good to see you. All right. I think what my topics were what were my topics? I can't even remember now. The VP pick. What do you think? Personally, myself, I think if I don't think they're going to win. I really don't. But if they do, I can see her somehow getting Biden, getting the other 25 people in the 25th Amendment, is it? Whatever, how many people you need to sign it to get him unfit for duty, where she can become president. That's all she's after. It's all about her. You know. Not only that, she is so far left. I mean, she makes Bernie look like a conservative. And her Second Amendment stuff, like, I mean, what she goes, I own a gun, but I am an active prosecutor or something like that. Something she said. So she's, I can have a gun, but you guys can't. That's her attitude. And I don't know. Also, the what do you ever want to call them? Democrats, progressives, communists, whatever that side is now. That I'm not picking her. Was doing exactly what they're cheering the protesters on for, right? She didn't make it because of her stellar political career. She got the position because she was black and a woman. Now, that to me, that is discriminatory. That's racism at its finest. I'm sorry if I've upset people, but that's what I believe. All right, let's start with you, New York Outcast. What do you think?
I think it's a shame, honestly, that we're dealing with Biden or her, to be honest. And I mean, publicly, it's a pretty sad joke, in my opinion. It doesn't look good upon us as a nation that these are potentially our leaders.
Oh, yeah. I know. It's a scary thought. You got a guy who's, he'll be
with it at best.
He'll be the oldest president we ever had if he wins. Because he'll be 78 by the time he's sworn in. It'd be like having sitting up there. Oh, Ginsburg would be falling asleep while he's giving the State of the Union address. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And not only that, I think they, combined, they represent pretty much the exact opposite of American values, in my opinion. So I think
I do too.
Not only is it laughable to other people that may not understand us, but it's kind of, I don't know, disrespectful, distasteful for us as well, at least to me. So
yeah, but I even think your normal Democrat living out in USA, America, right, don't think like they're thinking, and they are pandering to such a they're pandering to people like Hollywood and all them people, which is a very small minority of the Democratic Party, but they seem to be getting because the media is behind them. But I think when it comes to polling day, they will find out they're in for a rude awakening. I think, I really do. So anyway, that's my thought. Anyway, how about you, Guns and Barbecue? What do you think?
Well, I think it shows how the hypocrisy of Kamala Harris, because she sat there and just lambasted Biden through the whole process when she was running, saying she believed in accusers, all that fun jazz. And then she's like, well, yeah, he might. I'm sitting here saying that, he probably sexually abused or assaulted some people and things like that. But that's okay. I'm going to partner up with him. Like, what the hell is that?
Yeah, it's all about her.
Honestly, I still, I'm not big on conspiracy theories, but if tomorrow it was reported that the Democrats were purposely trying to throw the election, it wouldn't surprise me in the least. I still think that they're hoping 4 more years of Trump will really let them rally their base. They'll win the presidency after Trump, because it almost always flip-flops. It very few times has it not, when there's been a total of 8 years under one party. So it's almost guaranteed that it's going to go to a Democrat president in 2024 if and or when Trump wins. And then they're banking on having control of Congress and Senate. So, like I said, I'm not big on conspiracy theories, but I almost feel like picking Kamala Harris was just them trying to drive that nail home of just throwing the election. That way they have another 4 years to rally their base and work everybody up.
Yeah. Rich White puts a good point in the chat here. And he said, I don't think attacking Biden on his age is a smart idea. When Trump is about the same age and will be the oldest president ever if he wins. I think isn't he 2 or 3 years younger than Biden right now? I believe. So I think he's 74 or 75. So
to me, it's a mental competency. Being able to carry a conversation. If you can't even do that, that's a slight issue. Yeah.
Took the words right out of my mouth.
Yeah. So, what do you think, Kingpin?
Well, I say it all the time, and Guns and Barbecue kind of goes along the lines. They're not trying to win this. They never were trying to win. Kamala Harris was picked for the disruption factor. So if you say anything about her, they can come out and call you a racist, bigoted, sexist, homophobe, and all this kind of stuff. Joe Biden was just the name brand that they could slide across to people who, that's good old Joe Biden. They're definitely not trying to win this. They're just trying to disrupt it as much as they possibly can.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Biden is 77 right now, and Trump is 74. So, but there you go. I agree with you. So, all right. I mean, we can talk the death out of that, but it's no point. All we're doing is making ourselves wasting our breath, really, because it's like talking to the choir here. You know what I'm saying? I don't think I have outsiders listening to me. Not too much. I know my sister does occasionally. She lives in England, and she'll listen to this show every now and then. So
we should get her on sometime. It'd be interesting to have somebody's point of view from across the pond there.
Yeah. I'll see what I can do. Yeah. Anyway, my next thing is the magazine ban, the Ninth Circuit in California. So I mean, now I heard that the way I read it was that the to stop them was wrong against the second constitution. So you can buy large capacity magazines in California. But somebody said no, even though it says that, you still cannot because they put another on it. So I don't know what's going on. Does anybody know the true facts about this thing?
I believe it was cleared through the court, and then a different judge, ended up putting an appeal towards it. So there was a stay, so it's going to hold. So therefore, you still can't buy anything. So it's back and forth again, from what I hear. And again, this is just what I overheard from a show, so I can't state that's 100% correct.
Yeah, but I thought that's what the case was about, was the actual stay was illegal with the ban. You can't do it. But I don't know. I'm totally confused. Anybody live in California can tell us whether you can go out and buy a magazine today?
Well, a guy I watch in California, his name is Jericho Green. He ordered some 17-round Glock mags over the internet, and it accepted his order with his California address. Now, that's simple as a couple keystrokes back at, Glock or whatever company, eBay or wherever you're buying your stuff from. But yesterday, if you tried to order them, you're going to get that big, we can't ship to California thing. But he said that he was able to at least place his order. Whether or not it gets filled or not is to be determined. But budget mentioned last night, because I asked him kind of the same question: how much longer can this go on? And he said they have either one or two more appeals processes. Maybe I don't know. This is the first time I heard that it was already being appealed, because I haven't really paid much attention to it. But it can't go on forever, So
this appeal went in front of the 3-judge panel. Then they got one more, which is in front of all 11 of them.
Okay.
Then if there's a disagreement, then it will be sent to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court of the United States, who haven't looked favorably on a Second Amendment case since Heller.
Well, I would recommend to people who live in California, place your order. Worst case scenario is they cancel your order. But if they don't, the line's going to be long. The inventory is going to be small. So, and there's going to be a lot of people after it. So if you're out in California and you want some standard capacity magazines, place your order at least.
I would keep in mind, I don't know how that works, like a restocking fee. I know they didn't pull it off the shelf, but if for some reason the law changes and it's, they got to refund your money, and they might try pulling some crap. So I'd look at that before you made the purchase personally. But
yeah, definitely.
Maybe getting, a handful or something to start to see how it actually worked out. Sure. But I wouldn't buy 200 mags and then all of a sudden it's not going to work and they want 15% off your order or something stupid. So
yeah, Raphael just said, I follow Amend2 mags on Instagram, and they are not shipping to California yet. So
you got to think, like Rob was talking about, ordering 200, that goes back to hoarding. If you go to the grocery store and buy every loaf of bread off the shelf, next week when you go back, there's not going to be any bread. So instead of buying 200 magazines, buy 5 or 6.
Yeah, that's why we're out of ammo, because people are hoarding it.
Yeah, I'm not recommending buying 200. I'm just, there's that guy out there. So
yeah,
just putting it out there.
Read the fine print for sure, because that's important. If you buy 20 magazines and there's a 10% stocking fee, all you did was donate to whatever company you just paid.
Exactly. And it could be small stores as well that are trying to purchase to resell and things like that. So it's not just a hoarder per se.
Yeah. even now, you know, because of the shortages. Even the toilet roll section in Walmart is not totally packed out like it normally is. They got toilet paper back in, but it's not as full as it normally is from all this bullshit going on. A lot of it has to do with raw product. And I've said this before, you can't make bullets if you don't have the raw material. That's what it comes down to. Doesn't the lead get imported into the United States?
A lot of that stuff didn't stop. A lot of that industry kind of stuff didn't stop, and global trade didn't stop. Just what is it called? Civilian travel or recreational travel is what shut down. But there's a bunch of police forces is going with 9mm. A bunch of cops and military divisions, I guess you could call them, switch back to 9mm. So right there, you got the government jumping in your way first with their bottomless piggy bank.
Yeah, I understand that, but it's like over here, the meat industry didn't shut down, but a lot of the production plants got hit with COVID, and they didn't have enough bodies to run them. So these places that are doing the lead to be shipped into the United States, they could not have enough people to keep the production up. Or how about your dock workers? There's not enough of them to unload the ships. It's one big continuous cycle.
He's a dock worker down in Baltimore, and he's basically been imprisoned down there for the past 5 months. Because they've got to go through special security and all that kind of stuff. So when you get on the dock, they basically kidnapped him for the past 5 months.
Oh, yeah?
Wow.
Yeah.
You would think there's got to be a percentage of lead that's recycled. I know the range I used to go to, once a year, they'd clean out the rubber area in the back with all the stuff and clear all that out. And then they'd end up taking that in for scrap purposes, which were supposedly to go to spaghetti dinners and stuff. But, when you do the math, spaghetti don't cost that much. But anyway, there must be I'm just curious what that percentage is that's actually recycled within the U.S. from all the rounds that are being shot different places, because a lot of places do collect the brass and lead. So you would think we wouldn't be that bad off unless the military was absorbing all that as well. But I don't know. I'm just throwing something out there.
It comes back to what you said about the mag. You walk in normally on a normal year. When you went to the store, you bought 2 boxes of 9mm, right? Now you go to the store, you're buying 4 or 5. If everybody is doing that, there's going to be a shortage.
Yeah, to be honest, I've always bought more than a couple boxes, or if they'd be the big boxes. I know what you're saying. More people are getting more regularly. I try to go weekly. So, matter of fact, I went yesterday and did score some 9mm again. But paid more than I should have for it. But I shot this week and whatnot, so it only feels right to replace them.
Yeah. But right now, you got more 9mm than you normally ever have.
Are you asking me that as a question? Do I have more?
No, I just, I got more because I reload. I have these things here. They're not all full of ammo. There's only 2 of them full of ammo. The rest of them got cleaning supplies and other gun-related stuff in them. But most of my ammo is reloading. But I think Rich mentioned it. The problem now with reloading is it's trying to find primers. They are scarce. Now, why is there a shortage of primers? Somewhere down the line, there must be a breakdown.
Well, no, the reason that there's a shortage of primers is because everybody panicked when Dr. Fauci told us to. So we said, "Yes, sir, we'll do whatever you say." And then we ran out and bought all the ammo off the shelves. And then reloaders were like, "You guys are a bunch of idiots." And then 15 million more people started reloading overnight, and they did the same thing. They went in and swept it all up.
Yeah, yeah. And problem is, I mean, will the suppliers ever catch back up? You know,
Once all the hysteria is done, they will, but it's going to be a while.
yeah. I mean, finding reloading supplies now. I mean, you go online. My local shop, when I was there, I mean, I ain't been there for about 3 weeks. They still had plenty, you know, but you go online and all you see is out of stock, out of stock, out of stock, out of stock on reloading supplies. You know, from dyes to brass. You know, it's getting pretty sad out there. But, you know,
I wouldn't expect the companies to do much. I mean, in some cases, they probably can't do a lot more due to restrictions and whatnot. So, and unless this draw and ammunition stuck for, a year or two, I don't see how it would be financially beneficial for them to invest in another building or this and that and all the machinery. So if I had to guess, I would think they're just trying to ride out the wave at this point. But if it were to continue, you would think they would have to step it up. But, who's to say, really?
But then again, you say that, I mean, isn't there a couple of gun factories in New York who...
Yep, I know Remington's one, and I can't think of the other.
And that's the reason why there's a shortage of guns. If they can't produce what they're... Because the governor, was unconstitutionally shut them down. Right.
And then they offer to make medical equipment, and he refused them as well.
Yeah, I know.
And now they filed for bankruptcy. So go figure.
Yeah. So I mean, I think it's a vicious cycle, but I mean, Mr. Flip Flop Man, Dr. Fauci, is that how you pronounce his name? He's saying it's okay to go vote in person. I wonder if Trump pulled him into the Oval Office and chewed his ass out and said, "You better say it's okay." I don't have a problem with it. I mean, it's, I said when I go to town, I had a doctor's appointment the other day and I had to wear the mask, and I don't understand why I had to wear it in the building and wear it through the whole appointment. And I'm dying with this thing on. I can't breathe. And they took my blood pressure and they go, "God damn, your blood pressure's high." I said, what do you expect? He got me on this mask and it's getting me all stressed out. So, and as soon as I walked out the door, that thing came off. I'm telling you. Because I absolutely detest wearing it. I was thinking, can I buy one of them plastic shields to go over my face? I think I'll be more comfortable wearing that.
Probably. I've seen a few people in New York in stores, elder people that seem to be wearing face shields, and nobody had an issue with it. So I would assume, as long as you have something or whatever. I don't know if there's some legal thing, because obviously here in New York, they won't even let you in the store without a mask. So there's somebody, like you guys were stating Walmart, there was a lady, I drove by my Walmart, they got security guys out there making sure you walk in the right way and that you got a mask, bottles of sanitizer, they're handing out masks. You ain't getting in without a mask. Like
Oh,
they're
I
ready,
know.
they get ready to double team you right there at the door. So
Oh yeah, Walmart has somebody standing outside and somebody inside the door.
yeah,
If you get
so
past one, you ain't getting
I
past the other.
assume to keep your job, it's got to be okay if they're walking around with these face shields. So finding one may be a little difficult nowadays because I assume like a lot of things are probably in high demand now.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, Rich White said on his, we looked at a study on my show a couple of weeks ago that showed wearing a mask will raise heart rate and impede breathing. That's exactly what it does to me. Oh, I hate it. I hate it with a passion. But yeah, I mean, I went to Walmart. Was it last week? I can't remember when I went shopping, and I had to wear the damn mask. And I tell you, luckily, I got there early, and there was a parking spot in the handicap parking zone, which was good, right outside the door. I thought, this is great. I'm only 2 spots away from the door. But then you got to walk past the iron wall to walk around to come into the indoor, and the lady's sitting there, and she says, "Good morning." I said, "What's good about it?" She looked at me. I said, you watch me walk from my truck to here. I said, how come being disabled people can't, why haven't you got a gate up there that disabled people could use? Instead of making me walk all the way around here like this. She didn't have an answer for me. Then I get through the door, and the guy's there. He goes, "Oh, yeah, we got some..." I said, "You got an electric cart anywhere?" He goes, "Oh, yeah, over there." Now, they're parked on the out exit. And, of course, they have a fence down the center of the store. I said, "So how in the hell do I get over there to get one?" I said, "You're going to make me walk in the store, walk around, come back out and grab one." And he looked at me. He said, "I'll go get it." I said, "Thank you." So I made him go get it. I thought, damn. Do I have a case here against the Disability Act or something, the way they're treating me? Yeah. See, this is problem. Being disabled ain't, people think, wow, he's on Social Security, you don't have to work. It ain't easy, I'm telling you. It ain't easy.
I just find the difference at the door, funny. It sounds like you got one lady sitting there, and over by my area, they got 2 security guards, paid private security with IBAs or bulletproof vest on and everything, all dressed ready to roll at the door, standing there like tough guys, so grilling everybody down to make sure you're using the stuff. And you got a nice lady, so. It's a big difference.
You New Yorkers are violent people. That's why they got to have all that, Yeah. But I tell you, driving around here, there are so many here in Indiana. There are so many these farms. I go through, like when I was driving to Jasper, go past miles and miles of cornfields. Then occasionally you come to a farmhouse, and they have a big, giant American flag out there. Then they have another flag with Trump 2020 on it. I tell you, the big Trump country here right now. Trump can do no wrong here in Indiana, in this part of the state. So there we go. Mind you, talking about that, was not on the... Change the subject totally. I'm going totally different direction now because I just thought about this. I was down the diner yesterday. God damn, it rained yesterday morning. So I thought I'm in no rush to leave the diner. So I'm sitting there with the old boys include me in their conversations now because I've been going there enough. And squirrel season started today. I was invited, but my cousin came over and invited me to go squirrel shooting today, start the season. And I said, not in this humidity. I said, I nearly died last year. And I said, I ain't going to die this year. I said, when it cools off a bit, I'll go with you. He goes, okay. He said, I understand. He said, it's terrible out there. But he says, I haven't missed the start and day of squirrel season in 30 years. See, he said, I ain't going to stop now. Even if I just go out for a couple of hours, he goes. So that's what, but anyway, we're talking there, and where everybody goes squirrel hunting and raccoon hunting. It's over near a town called, where my father actually comes from, a town called Eckerty, Indiana. There ain't nothing there. You blink your eye and you missed it. You know, there's not even a store there now. All there is in Eckerty is a post office, and that's it. But anyway, because the reason that is because the government, I think I told this story, the government back in the late 70s, early 80s, bought all the land because it's real hilly down through there, and they were going to flood it and make a lake and a reservoir. But it never happened. So they owned all the land. So they planted trees everywhere. There's thousands of trees. They're in there now logging all the pine trees down and stuff like that. And those old boys are hostile because that's their prime hunting area. I just made me think about that. I was just, so they're all bent out of shape. He says, and what they're mad about is the government is not going to reseed it. They're just going to let it grow wild. So that's pissed them off too. I don't know why.
You would think they do something, especially if it's a government project taking the lumber or something. So you would think they'd replant. I mean, it only kind of makes sense.
Well, yeah, but they're not going to.
Very affordable. You got people out there anyway, so.
Yeah. Oh, Raphael said, does he eat the squirrel? Oh, yeah, my cousin eats the squirrel. Oh, yeah. I'm trying to think what the limit is on how many you can get a day. He normally always, I think, is it 5 a day or is it 10 a day? I don't know. He normally bags his limit every day. I mean, when I say every day, every time he goes squirrel hunting, he normally bags the limit. I mean, my cousin is a crack shot. He really is.
Have you eaten raccoon?
Who, me? No, I haven't eaten raccoon.
Yeah, me neither. I'm just curious. I've heard mixed things about it, but
yeah, why
you get cornered like under a trailer with a raccoon? There's some mean ass animals. Let me tell you.
But they were talking. There's these old boys in there. They were talking about squirrel dogs. Because somebody asked him. Because one guy used to have squirrel dogs, and he's 85 now. He said, I don't go hunting anymore. He said, I sold all my dogs. He said, anyway, a good squirrel dog now will cost you around $3,000. I thought, Jesus Christ, I'm in the wrong business here. I need to get some dog breeding going on. So, and a good raccoon dog will cost you about $5,000. Now one of the old boys there, that's what he does. He all he does is hunt raccoons. That's it. And he's got about 4 hounds that he's got. And so he didn't say anything, but somebody else told me, he said, if you bought one of those off him, he'd charge you around $5,000 for it. But I thought, Jesus, I'm in the wrong business.
Does he sell that meat or something?
What?
Does he sell that meat?
No, I don't believe so. I mean, they treat them as, they're treating them, they're like they're rodents.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'll next time I see him, I'll ask him what he actually does with them. But I think they just shoot them and leave them. I think because they're treated as rodents.
Well, no, a lot of people, they shoot them and then they take and sell the pelts. Let's say up around here, depending on the size of the coon, you could be fetching anywhere from $20 to $50 a pelt normally, I think.
Well, what's made with raccoon nowadays?
Do what?
I said, what's made with raccoon nowadays? Like pelts, raccoon pelts, squirrel pelts. Who's making stuff with pelts now? Is that?
I would imagine
a couple people out in Alaska or something, but that's a thing.
Well, I would imagine people who do a lot of Native American stuff would use them. You know, like making gloves or whatever out of the skin because there's leather on them, whatever, when they treat them and whatever. You know, I don't know.
Yeah, you know, I understand you can get some really good equipment if you know what you're doing, but I just wouldn't think there's that many people doing them where people can make a living off them just running around doing that nowadays.
Yeah. Well, I think what it ends up coming down to is people that, you know, want fur coats, things like that. They're not actually forking out the big money for, you know, mink and stuff like that. What they're doing is like, oh, it's a fur coat, but what it's probably been is a raccoon pelt or something like that that's been bleached and dyed and whatever else. And, you know, they're not worried about the quality of the fur or anything. They're just going, oh, I have a fur jacket now. Let's say, because a lot of places around me buy deer hides. I'm not sure what the deer hides are getting, and I've never bothered trying to sell one of my deer hides, but I think they're paying upwards of about $75 for a deer hide.
Shit, that's a good deal. If you're hunting anyway, you get the meat and you're getting paid for the hide. I mean,
Rich
yeah,
White,
but
why
it
not?
also depends on if you go to a processor or not, because a lot of the processors take in get rid of the hide then, and but if you're cutting it up yourself and you don't feel like throwing it in your trash can or something like that, hunting down a person that's buying hides is definitely a option.
Yeah, Rich White just happened to mention raccoons aren't rodents; they're related to bears. And he goes, but to the pelts, he goes, reenactors use them too. You know, people who reenact the old, you know, days, you know, mountain men days or whatever.
Yeah, or probably, yeah. I've seen some reenactments. And then you figure there's probably some places that are just into that type of thing, but I just wouldn't think the demand's that high to where you're actually making money off it.
That's because you're
maybe I don't know. You know, I have no idea.
That's because you're civilized and live in New York. You know.
Well, and another thing is a lot of this fur they can take and make into felt, things like that. So then you got your felt cowboy hats, which if anybody knows anything about cowboy hats, there's degrees of X's. 1X is about the worst thing you can get. Then it goes all the way up to 100X. 100X is supposed to be 100% fur. Normally that's like a beaver pelt though that the hat's been made out of. So a lot of these furs are bought by hat manufacturers for cowboy hats, and again they just use it for that.
There you go. Huh. So, Jason Stewart says he's at work. He's listening from work. Oh, well.
Learning.
There you go. See, that's what happens. I'm learning every day, too, living out here.
Hey, you guys want to learn some useless knowledge?
Go on.
All right. So, everybody's familiar with the old term piss poor?
Yeah.
And the term so poor don't got a pot to piss in?
Yeah, or a window to throw it out of. Yeah, go on.
Yeah. So that comes from back in the day. If you were poor, so poor that you needed money, you would piss in a pot and take it down to your local tannery where they're tanning deer hides, and that's how they used to tan the deer hides was with
Get out of here.
Honest to God, look it up. Honest to God.
Yeah, they use urine and what they call tanning, which is basically just treating animal hides, and urine is something that was used for pretty much all of human history.
Yeah, just imagine having that job back in the 1800s and a hot August day. Oh, that would be absolutely awful.
Wow.
Yeah. The
things we do for money, you know?
Oh, yeah. Hell yeah. So there you go. I was always thinking of going down to one of them blood banks and selling my blood for money if I ever needed any.
Yeah, you don't want to sell blood. You want to sell the plasma.
Okay.
Because what they can do is they can take your blood and somehow extract the plasma from it. And as far as I'm not 100% sure on how it works, I think they might be able to put the unplasmated blood back in your body, and then you get more for just the plasma. But if you just go down to the local, whatever hospital or whatever and just donate blood, you don't get nearly as much money.
Oh, okay. That's if I'm ever in trouble. That's what I'm going to have to do. All right. Oh, as I say, Jason Stewart said he's listening from work, but Rich White says his helper from last week can't be there. The one who was trying to seduce him last week. If you guys remember, the one who was everything was hanging out. She can't be there this week, I guess. Oh, okay. Anyway, let me get back on topic here. Back on track. What else was I going to mention?
You got distracted.
What?
So you got distracted. That happens when things hang out.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Rich White says, I can't sell blood or plasma due to my health issues. Now, I know it's years ago. I remember, now I'm going back 20 years. When I arrived over here, I think it was 1995, I went to there was a blood drive going on. So I said, well, hey, I'll do it. Went in there, but because I just came from Europe, they wouldn't take my blood because of mad cow disease. They said you can't get if you've been overseas and you've eaten meat products from overseas while you were there, you cannot donate blood in the United States for 10 years. That's what it was back then.
We don't want
to do that way now.
European blood over here.
Yeah. I don't feel bad. They didn't want my blood either, but
hey, I told them
in the military for a little bit.
I said I don't mind. You won't get any royal blue blood out of me anymore. Then that's it. So okay, we're way off topic here, totally. And I was gonna. Oh, I know what I was going to talk about. How come? I think it's a damn despicable that the mainstream media hasn't picked up on that story of that young kid where that guy walked up to him and shot him in the head. His next door neighbor. Have you guys heard that story? Read it?
It's narrated. That's why we don't hear it. It is a tragedy. It's horrible. It's disgraceful. There's no, there's nothing. It's just disgusting that somebody would do something like that. So whether you're upset or whether there was an issue about riding a bike in the yard or whatever, it doesn't matter. There's no justification for something like that. And somebody like that should, be dealt with swiftly, in my opinion.
Yeah, but what I'm doing is the media
isn't saying much, because of the colors of the people. But I can say the same thing about the people I seen yesterday down there in small town America, two Caucasian people holding up Black Lives Matter signs, which is just it's a damn shame. It's a damn shame. It's just with everything that's going on today, it doesn't make sense. But the media is pushing everything one way. That's just how they do things. They want everybody hating everybody.
Well, that's the thing that you got to remember is this conversation is a part of the trap. We all know, and we've known for, I'll say arguably 40 or 50 years, that all of the media is corrupt. With your, few good reporters here and there, a few good outlets here and there, once in a while. So don't be shocked that the media sucks. It shouldn't be a surprise, and it shouldn't even be offensive now that CNN and MSNBC aren't covering this little kid's murder. We know they're not going to. That's not their thing. That's Rob talked about it earlier. That it's not a part of their narrative. And the narrative is a storyline. It's not necessarily the truth. It's not necessarily facts, but it's a storyline.
Oh yeah.
So why be surprised that they don't cover it?
I mean, another thing, I wasn't surprised. I mean, did you notice? Was it yesterday or the day before? the CNN, MSNB, all them stations, they didn't mention that one of the lawyers has been charged, for that FISA, for falsifying the document.
They haven't talked about the peace treaty either.
No.
But that's what I mean. Why? Don't be shocked at that. Just know that's who they are.
Why should they talk about it? It was Biden who made it all happen.
Yeah.
Isn't that what he said? Something like that? So, yeah, I'm not surprised. It's just, I'm not surprised, but it's a shame that it's got that way. It really is. Because like reporters, newspapers and all that were meant to be how the country got their information. But even my free local paper called the Clarion News, I get it free in my mailbox every week. I mean, that paper is so left leaning, it's unreal. I open it up hoping to see something decent, but all the right to the editors and all this is all left leaning, because there's still, even though this is Trump country, there is still a few pockets of left leaning people, and mainly it's media.
Well, they're trying to hold on to what group they have and what influence they have, and that's Hollywood, that's sports, that's mainstream media. That's why they ban channels like these that come out and talk about stuff and get more viewers. There's this guy that I watch who is as crazy as can be. His YouTube channel's name is Salty Cracker. You should go look him up. He's hilarious. But he's crazy. He just goes on and cracks jokes about these lefties all day while he's doing like current event reports and stuff. And he gets 7,000 people in his live streams. Joe Biden doesn't get 7,000 people on every live stream that he's ever done combined. And that embarrasses them. That's why YouTube cracks down on us. That's why Twitter bans Donald Trump and any Trump supporter, and Reddit bans them, is because they can't stand having us on here taking over their platforms. This was like they were going to build this stuff for them. Twitter was going to be for them. And then a bunch of us got on there and started laughing at them, and now they can't get rid of us and they're angry. So that's why they don't like mainstream media doesn't like what G-Webs calls it, the new media, which is what we're doing right here.
Yeah. Oh, just real quick, Rich says that guy is being charged with first-degree murder on that 5-year-old boy in North Carolina. And North Carolina does have the death penalty. So if he gets found guilty, he'll be, on death row if he makes it that far. If somebody doesn't do a on him, a Hepstein or whatever his name was, So anyway, you're right. I shouldn't be surprised. But I was saying, I don't know, were you in here when I was talking about before the show started that I need to stop watching YouTube channels? Because some of them are, and I'm talking about channels on our side, are driving me absolutely crazy with some of the bullshit they're coming out with.
I've talked about it with a couple people privately, and I've debated on making the video. But all these Second Amendment heroes that we have are clowns. All of them are clowns. If you need a Second Amendment hero and you're looking for somebody with a big channel, Travis P11 is the perfect example. You can go to Travis P11 and have a good dude that'll talk to you directly, give you tons of information, not lie to you, and not pretend about who he is. And he's got 30,000 subs. You go to that Yankee Marshall and a bunch of the other people who, I could name them all on the YouTube, they're all clowns. And then when you get to these rallies and all the speakers that are the same and they do their Second Amendment rally tours are all clowns. I seen an interview with this dude the other day, and he was trying to smash Candace Owens for not going to downtown Chicago. Why? If she cares about black people, why isn't she in downtown Chicago? Because she's a conservative woman. They'll kill her on the first second she steps foot in downtown Chicago. He's not there either. I asked him, I said, name one thing that you can argue about Candace Owens. And all he did was say, well, there's so much. Just like all the lefties say. And all the other people who don't have an argument say, oh my gosh, I could go on forever. I can't. There's just so many things. How could I pick just one? Because they can't pick just one.
Yeah, I mean, same thing they say about Donald Trump.
There's a lot of these black guys that are our Second Amendment heroes. They're race baiters. That's it. You can't listen to them talk a sentence without talking about race. You got to understand, just because they talk 2A and they talk about guns doesn't mean they're really on our side. You know, there's a lot of these people that are in it to be famous, and that's what they've got. They got their speaking tour where they'll be in California at a rally, in DC at a rally, and all they're doing is rallying. That's it.
Yeah.
You want a Second Amendment hero? Be your own Second Amendment hero.
Yeah. I mean, you're right. I mean, I was watching one of them. I said this morning, I think he put it out last night, you know, and I'm listening to it and I'm thinking, you know, yeah. But then he comes out with then of course, he comes out with that statement, you know, where they had the House and the Senate for the first 2 years and they got nothing done, you know. So, just bashing Trump and the Republicans, you know. I wrote in his thing down here, he hasn't responded to me. I said, what you're forgetting, if you understand, I didn't put this in there, but I'm thinking, I hope you understand. You know, if you understand how it works, is you got to have 60 votes to pass a bill in the Senate. And even though they have the majority, they only have the minimum amount. I think they had 53 those first 2 years. They weren't going to change 7 Democrats to vote for gun rights, you know. So don't spew that shit. Don't say shit like that. Because all it's going to do is, if you got somebody on the fence, they might say, well, if that's what's happening, why do we want to vote for Trump again? You know?
That's why I keep screaming about the whole take the gun. I actually went and watched those videos. I watched like 7 different videos up when he did the press conference or the meeting or whatever, and he said, take the guns first. And if you go back and you listen to that and you still think that he wants to come take your average everyday citizen's gun, you're stupid. And anybody, you are stupid.
Yeah. I mean, Vanessa Kitty said they did not do much those 2 years.
Donald Trump was under investigation for being a Russian agent. Everybody in the government
2 years
anywhere near him.
Also, you had a rhino as the House Speaker, and what's his name, Ryan, right? Who didn't push any 2A stuff through. But as I just said, if the House had passed it and it made it to the Senate could, all the Republicans could vote for it. They'll get 53 yays. Then the Democrats all vote nay. It does not pass because you need 60 yays for it to pass. You know, how, I mean, that's not that, I don't understand why people don't understand that. It's that simple.
Because their hero told them something different. And since their hero said so, there's no reason for me to look it up. Why would I bother? You know, just something I'll touch on real quick, and I'm not trying to turn this into, but when I was younger and I was going to church, the church had an idea that the pastor was a good man. I'm not taking anything away from him. He was a good man. But when the pastor got up and read something from the Bible or preached something from the Bible or taught something from the Bible, even though the pastor himself would say, now you go home and look that up because I might have missed something. I might have misspoke. Every single time the preacher got up or the pastor or whatever, the teachers got up, they all said the same thing. And nobody in the congregation ever went home and checked on it because the pastor said it. He's got to be right. He's a man of God. And we put our Second Amendment heroes up there too. Hickok 45 said that you can catch a 45 because a 45 bullet coming out because it only moves 3 miles per hour. And then you got idiots out there shooting themselves in the hand with a gun. Oh, well, Hickok said so. Why should I bother? I'm just making up an example.
I know exactly what you mean. You know? Yeah. Vanessa says our only hope is through the Supreme Court. Yeah, it is. But unfortunately, and it shouldn't be this way, the Supreme Court of the United States should be unbiased, i.e., no political leanings. But we know that doesn't happen. In all those 10 cases that they denied, they had 4 judges that said, you got a yay from us, is they couldn't trust Roberts to be the 5th yay. And that is where your problem is. You know? Which is a shame. And I mean, it's just the way it is. I mean, it's a shame it come down to that, but that is just what it is, you know. And so we need another one of the left-leaning judges to quit, and for Trump to appoint another one. Then you would have your 5. Then hopefully you would have your 5 judges that would go yay on a gun bill.
You guys stop and put stuff into perspective. You know, if that's why we like to joke around and say we're about facts and right and wrong, and the left is only about emotion and feelings. We're just as emotional and just as feeling based as they are. We just don't want to admit it. That's why we run off and, well, we had the Republicans and, you know, this, that, and the third, Donald Trump, orange man bad, and, you know, all that kind of stuff. We do the exact same thing as they do.
Yeah, you're right. We do. You know, but it's so hopefully, I mean, as we were talking earlier, if that California ban makes it all the way to the Supreme Court, are they going to pick it up? Because I'm sure California is going to, appeal it again. Then it goes in front of the, what do they call it, the en banc, or whatever they call it, where it goes in front of the 11 judges. You know, and if the ruling is reversed, then of course the people who won it this time will put in an appeal, which will send it to the Supreme Court. And if the Supreme Court's still sitting like it is now, I doubt that they'll pick it up. So the magazine ban will still stand. You know, which sucks, but that's just the way the world works here, unfortunately. I mean, it's totally different to what I was taught in school. You know. But then, you know, they said, if you have a grievance, I remember as a kid, I think I was in 5th or 6th grade, and I remember sitting there and they said, if you have a grievance, you can take it all the way to the Supreme Court of the United States. Yes, you can, but there's no guarantee that they're going to hear it. So you've done all your thing. You've gone bankrupt paying for it all. You finally got it to the Supreme Court. And they go, nah, denied. We're not going to pick it up. And so they screwed you in the backside without Vaseline, basically. You know, that's my feelings on it.
Or wait 20 years before they decide to.
Yeah.
Your backside's going to need extra lube because now you're 75 years older.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just a crazy, crazy times we're living in. But it's still the best country in the world. People still want to come and live here. We have more African Americans, more Indians, Asians, Japanese, Chinese. Everybody wants to come and live here because it's because we're free, believe it or not. Freer than they all are. So it's still a great country, even though we piss and moan about it. But a lot of this, what we're pissing and moaning about, is our own fault because we let it happen.
You can come steal stuff and riot and beat people in the streets, and they don't even care anymore. You know, and get free money and benefits. Yeah. You got crooked teeth, we got you covered.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So it's all happening here. the land of opportunity. You work hard, and you can make it. So they tell me. And I guess I didn't work hard enough. Is all I can say. You know.
I like the one saying from the movie Weekend at Bernie's. He said, "My dad worked hard every day, and the only thing they did was give him more work."
Oh yeah, and that's the way it normally happens. The good workers get shit on, and the ones who manage to get away with nothing get promoted, get praised. You know.
I gotta skip. Thanks for having me, Rick. Good to see everybody. When you do the quiz and I win, send my winning over to Vanessa Kitty because I'm definitely gonna win.
Okay.
All right. Have a good day, guys.
All right.
Take care, King Kong.
So is it that time already? Jesus, 4:00. Let me do the quiz. Last week was a real easy one, and what I wanted to know was, where is it? What did they find in the Great Basin National Park in Nevada in 2014? It was a Winchester Model 1873. It was leaning up against a tree. And luckily, I was reading a thing on it. Luckily, they found it because 2 years later, what was it? They called it the Strawberry Fire, swept through there and burnt that juniper tree that it was actually leaning against. So it would have been gone forever. So there you go. That was the answer.
Yeah, it was an archaeologist just hiking through there, I guess, and he stumbled upon it. It was pretty.
No, from what I read, it could have been, but what I read is it might have been archaeologists, but park rangers and everything. They were going through it to make sure everything, that they were trying to get it for it wouldn't, like fight for starting fires and stuff. Make and somebody found it leaning up against a tree. They never found out whose it was or why it was left. But it's kind of cool, really, when you think about it. Anyway,
yeah.
Let's see. I had 4 entries in that, so you all got 25% chance of winning for my swag pack. And I'm going to hit the draw now button. Here we go. Willed and Well Arm is the winner. Well, there we go. Sorry.
Congratulations.
Sorry, Kingpin, you didn't win. So, all right. But this week's is an easy question too. I used it once before, 2 or 3 years ago. But besides some stickers and a patch, there's even a pack of Firearm Inventors playing cards in here. That's for this coming week. And the question is, who were the 2 individuals awarded the Medal of Honor in the Buffalo Wallow fight? And what happened? I mean, I sort of basically what happened. They were awarded the Medal of Honor for this fight, and I want to know what the outcome was. So, there we go. You got that? The Buffalo Wallow fight. It was in 1874, if anybody's interested. So, I just want to know who were the ones awarded the Medal of Honor and what happened. But there you go. Everybody got that. Good. Let's move on. Where are we going now? What do you guys want to talk about? What have I got here? May when kids shot. Oh yeah. I was listening. As I said, I got to stop listening to stuff. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love the guy. Travis P111. He has his caliber corner on Saturday mornings. And I normally listen to him while I'm setting this show up, finding my tags, my things I'm going to talk about, and finding my question for the quiz and all this kind of stuff. So I have it listening in the background. But I must be un-American. That's all I can say. I must have lived in Europe way too long.
The mac and cheese thing is serious.
No, they talk practically the whole show. Right? It was a big talking about ARs, 80% lowers, and all this shit. And to me, it's the most boring chat in my life to sit through. Because I have no interest. I mean, I don't know you guys know it. I mean, I think I mentioned it last week. My 22 lever action here, I got rid of my Smith & Wesson 1522 AR-15 looking rifle for that. So I don't have anything that looks remotely like an AR-15 in my house. That make me un-American. I mean, to me, I guess some people find, I guess people talking about working on 80% lowers and building AR-15s and all that, love that kind of conversation. But it bores the shit out of me. It really does. Because I have no interest in it. So. Ohio.
Any subject.
Good to see you. Thanks for stopping by. Go on.
If you're not interested in any subject, then I don't know if you're forcing yourself to watch out of habit or just for participation or support. But if it's not your thing, you could always pop in. Leave a thumb if you feel and head out. Yeah. So it's better.
I put my through these punishments. I had it running. I had it the chat. I didn't even watch it on the screen. It was in the background while I was doing all this other stuff on my other tabs. And every now and I'm going, God, this is so boring. But it was. I mean, I wanted the reason because it was live is why I was listening to it. So I know it was going to run for a couple of hours. Because
everything out there isn't made for you, Rick, or me, or anybody else.
Don't they know who I am? Don't they know who I am?
Yeah, he should have known. He should have known.
Yeah. They should have known Rick was listening, so we don't talk about this subject.
Rick, you give me 30 seconds, I might be able to bore you just a little bit more. So, New York, do you like to build your own mac and cheese, or you just like that, pre-made stuff that you get out of the store?
I love the homemade stuff, man. Yeah. Homemade. We just had it the other day. Oh, it is good.
You bored me within 5 seconds. Talking about that, when my cousin came over, he came over the other day, when I done the swap on the rifle. He brought me some vegetables and stuff from his garden and some stuff from the church, So I put all that in the fridge. I've been eating a lot of the vegetables, which is healthy for me. He came over the other day, more vegetables from his garden. There's only me and 2 cats.
Start eating it. You stick to your routine. You come out here, tell us you're doing better. What are you eating? You're eating grilled cheese tonight, aren't you?
No, I'm going to make a salad.
Okay, because usually it's the same damn thing. Bullshit.
It's grilled cheese on Wednesdays normally, but I had burgers this Wednesday. But no, I'm making a salad. I've been eating a lot of salad since he started doing this. I got tomatoes. I got green peppers. I'm going to slice up. I've got banana peppers as well. I've even got some hot peppers. Like
do you have something against spaghetti too?
I'm going to chop that and throw that in there. I got lettuce. I'm going to mix in there. I got tomato. I'm going to make myself a nice salad.
Yeah, I'd say you could do some nice spaghetti sauce or something. Add some of that stuff in, unless you got something against spaghetti. But
No. But where I was going in, but also besides all the vegetables, it brings me this box from the church. I now have 4 gallons of milk in my fridge. You know,
that's a lot. That's a lot.
I said to him,
For one person.
He goes, drink it. He said, give it to the cats. You know,
even for cats, that's a lot.
Yeah, and
maybe
really,
a neighbor or something. You know, I don't know.
Most, and I was reading an article. Most cats shouldn't have. Most cats are, what's that? Intolerant.
Lactose intolerant, whatnot. They have issues. So if you do give your cat some, they recommend just a tiny bit here and there, not
that's what I
have
do.
a steady diet. Yeah.
Yeah, I give them a little bit every now and then, not every day, not all the time. You know. Rich Wright says, better start drinking that milk. Well, I'm more likely to go down to the dollar store tomorrow and buy some chocolate mix, and I'll drink. I can drink chocolate milk. Drinking straight up milk just doesn't do it for me. I'm sorry.
If you're gonna buy that mix, get the Hershey Naturals.
Okay.
It doesn't change as dark, but it tastes the same. So it's a little deceiving, but it pretty much tastes the same. But it's actually a lot better because I used to get yelled at a lot because of that Hershey syrup. If you read the back of that, man, there's a lot of junk in there. So they do have the natural option.
Okay. All right.
Be a little better. Try to cut corners where you can.
Yeah, that's more like what I go buy tomorrow. And start drinking this before it gets through as much as I can before it goes bad.
Yeah, and with milk, there's only so much you're going to be able to drink before you feel bloated and miserable. So don't overdo it either.
I tell you what I do. I tell you what I do have in my cupboards there. I have some Jell-O chocolate pudding mix. No sugar, sugar-free.
That's like 2 cups per package, I think. So you can burn up a little bit, but you don't want to get crazy with that either.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You eat too much of that, you're defeating the purpose of the sugar-free shit, you know? I'm trying to find ways to get rid of this milk, you know?
Yeah, I know my
throw it out if I can help it, you know? So, anyway, that's, well, I said, but, I told you, I got tons. Oh, he even brought me over more eggs. He brought me a dozen and a half eggs over. I still have about half a dozen left from the last lot he gave me.
There you go. You can mix some eggs up, a little bit of milk, dice up some of those vegetables, make yourself a nice omelet.
Yeah, that sounds pretty good.
Healthy and good looking. You don't have to put cheese in it like I would, but you know.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So
I like to put macaroni and cheese in my omelet.
Yeah, I haven't made Welsh rabbit in a while. I could do that too with my, because I got a block of cheddar cheese in there.
Here we go with the grilled cheese. I
didn't say grilled cheese. I said Welsh rabbit. That's cheese. That's cheese on toast. There's a difference. You put the bread in the toaster, toast it. Put some butter it lightly, put the cheese on, stick it under the broiler until the cheese is bubbling. Then pull it out and eat it. That's Welsh rabbit. That's what the English call it. So
you're in America, buddy.
Yeah, I know. I can't help it. I sit and watch in the evenings a lot of times. I subscribe to BritBox. Old British TV shows. I'll sit there and watch them in the evenings. You know, trying to make myself homesick, I guess. I don't know. I miss it. I miss England. It's because I grew up there, but I don't want. But when I went back maybe 7-8 years ago, when my father passed away, and it is totally changed to what it was when I got there, when I lived there, you know. I didn't like it anymore. But I tell you what, I rented a car at the airport, and driving on the other side of the street, come back to me. I mean, that's where I learned to drive in England. So driving on the other side of the road, it came back to me in a heartbeat. So I didn't have no problems that way. Even the only thing I had problems with is I forgot how narrow the roads are. When another car's coming, you got to pull over, let them pass. But besides that, it was all right. I drove around some of my old haunts I used to live at and drink at, and it's totally changed. Some of the places are gone, some are still there, but no, it just wasn't the same.
You look up any old lady friend?
No, but I looked. I spent a few days with my best friend that I was when I lived there.
Oh, that's cool.
So we went to some of the old haunts we used to go to, and he goes, "This has changed, ain't it?" I said, "God damn, it has." So it was more interested. I mean, and he has 2 kids, and they're in their 20s now. And we went out to dinner one night, and I don't know what we got onto. They were fascinated about America. Then they asked me questions. Then they got onto the subject of guns. They asked me about guns. I said, I got one and I carry it. And no, it wasn't 7 years ago I went there because I wasn't carrying guns then. I've only been carrying them.
How'd that go?
Years. No, I told them you can carry a gun in the United States. It's your right. Talking about this, and they were, and I said, if I ever get into guns, I said, I don't have a problem with them. I said, if I'm going to buy one, I remember saying this 7, 8 years ago that I would, if I ever bought a gun, I would, I have no problem carrying it where I went anywhere. I remember saying that, and thinking about that, 4.5 years later, I started doing exactly what I said I was going to do. So there you go. Ohio says, make your own yogurt. Well, out of that milk. Oh, Raphael says, have you watched Dad's Army? Oh, yeah, that is a great show. I remember watching that as a kid. And I've been watching it again on BritBox. It is funny. Captain Mallory. Oh, yeah. If you haven't watched it, you don't know what I'm talking about. But how do you make yogurt out of milk? Tell me. Oh, Rich White said, good Lord, speaking of English TV, they have said Faulty Towers is racist. Oh, hell, yeah, I mean, under today's standards, it is. But one of the funniest comedies ever made, and I've been watching it religiously. I've been watching I'm on season 5 right now, and I think they made 7 or 9. Was it 7 or 8 seasons? Was a show called Only Fools and Horses. Best comedy ever made in England. And talking about, under today's standards, it's racist. At one point they go, I'm just running down to the Packies, which means the corner convenience store that is run and owned by people from Pakistan or India. And those kind of stores, they call them the Paki, because the Pakistanis owned them.
Well, it's not that different. I know around here, everybody will refer to a lot of the gas stations as like the Hindu shop or whatever. So
yeah,
I'm not saying it's right or whatever, but that's just what they're referred to. You know what I mean? So people, oh yeah, they know what you're talking about or something. That's the normal.
He asked me what did I think of Blackadder. I liked the beginning of it. The first season and stuff. It was good. When it started going on a bit more, I didn't like it, but I liked the first season, the first couple of seasons of it. So That's right. I'm just talking to somebody in chat there. But anyway, I'm going to let you guys go. I got to feed the cats and make my salad. And I got to chop all the stuff up. You know, I've even got to wash. I mean, always wash my vegetables. But there's a difference between a vegetable out of the garden and one from the supermarket. You know, the ones I get from the garden actually still have dirt on them. You know, the ones from
dirt's better than
the
chemicals.
supermarket has some sort of spray on them. You know,
Depending how I was grown, dirt's a lot healthier than the chemicals. So a lot of these, yeah, it's from a garden's usually much healthier either way. So, but it is always good to rinse stuff off. You know, due to lots of things. You know, animals peeing on it, possible stuff that is people touching it, or other contaminations that could have been, you know, might be sweating out of it, depending how it was grown or what with. So it's always a good idea to wash your vegetables. So certain things, scallions, things like that, if you don't, you can find yourself getting into some trouble. So it's definitely a good idea. So, I mean, worst come to worst, throw it in a strainer, spray it really good, shake it around, do what you can. And those little things can save you a lot of issues later.
Oh yeah. Two Gun Kitty said Packy is also short for package store. Yeah, but a package store in England is called an off license. Believe it or not. Why is it called an off license, you ask? Because it's like a pub. To run a bar, a pub, you have to have a license to sell alcohol. So selling alcohol in the shop is off. They just call it off license because you're not in a pub. You're in a separate building, so you're off license. It's don't ask me how, but that's how it works over there. It's really strange. I mean, we were having this conversation yesterday in the morning chat, you know, about what we say, what's said in England, what's said here. You know, even like with cars, you got a fender, it's a wing. You know, you got a bonnet, which is a hood. You got a trunk, it's a boot. You know, and stuff like that. You know, like you park your car in a parking lot here, but in England, you put it in a car park. You know, just saying, it's just better English over there than what we got here. You know, how was this conversation all? I said I was leaving. The only reason how this conversation all started in yesterday's chat, we were talking about the word fag. You know, like, because in England, fag is slang for a cigarette. And
to this day, still, right?
Yeah. And actually, it goes back to the real old days when in school, when the younger students were made to do stuff by the older students. The younger students were called faggots. And they had a broom made out of wood with thin sticks in it, right? And what they would do is to start a fire in the room, they would pull one of those little sticks out of the broom to light the fire. So it was, you know, give me a fag. So, or basically it was fag. Give me a stick, right? So it changed, and that developed into fag for cigarette. Let me pinch a fag from you. You know, that's where the saying came from. So interesting, really, when you look at this stuff up. But anyway, I am definitely out of here. One of the cats he's actually pawing at my leg. The claws will be coming out in a minute if I don't go. You know, but I was actually talking about that. I told you I had to go to the doctors and wear the mask. I'm in there, and it's the foot doctor I was going to because he's checking my feet for the diabetes and make sure there's no cuts on there. And why he does it, gives me manicure, I said paint them red, but they wouldn't do that, you know. But he goes, "What's these scratches on your legs?" I said, "That's my cat." He goes, "Your cat scratches you?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "When he gets hungry," and I ignore him here, swipe me with his paw. I said, and he looked at me. I said, "Hey, these cats are as big as dogs, you know." And I see, and it's my own fault because I play rough with them. Like, I'll be playing with them and knocking their head around and stuff, and I'll pick them up, put my hand underneath them, lift them up, and body slam them onto the bed. Of course, they get pissed off at me, start fighting and scratching, So it's my own fault.
They sell socks that are prevent you from getting bit by snakes. So maybe you should look into that. I don't know. So figure if it'll stop a snake bite, it might stop the little claws of a cat. So
hey, these cats,
it would suck the thing that love kills you.
These cats have got some mighty big claws. I'm telling you, these are mighty big.
Be careful because you just turn into one big snack. You ever take a long nap over there?
Oh, I know. I tell you, if I ever die and nobody knows it, these cats will be eating me in a heartbeat. Guarantee it. I think that's what they think of, because what research I found is the domestic cat DNA is more related to the tiger than it is the lion. And I mean, when you're sitting there looking at, when the cat's just sitting there in front of you staring at you, what's going through his mind? How he's going to kill you? From his ancestors as a tiger, or,
man, you're putting a lot of thought into this. Huh?
Oh yeah.
You better be nice to them cats.
And another thing too, I think I mentioned this before. 90% of cats, male cats at least, are left-handed or left-pawed. They normally, if they do anything, they do it with their left paw first. And that is why cats were highly thought of in Egypt back in the days of the pharaohs. Cats were special because of being, if you were left-handed, you were thought special. Cats were left-pawed, so they were special. That's what I found out too. I got a lot of time on my hands. I do a lot of reading. Anyway, domestic cats, pound for pound, are the strong cat species. If they were the size of a tiger, they could rip your head off. They could rip the head off a grizzly with one paw swipe. I could believe it. Especially with these Maine Coons here. I think they're tackling a grizzly now. Yeah. All right, I'm out of here. You got any plugs or shout outs, New York?
No, just thanks for joining us, everybody. Have a great day.
Yeah. Guns and barbecue. Got anything?
I just did a video today on choosing my zombie gun. I'm torn between chopping up a Mosin, kind of making almost a one-handed shooter out of it, or just going with a mare's leg that I got a great deal on from my local shop. So if anybody wants to
mare's leg, you don't want to destroy a Mosin.
Well, I do want to destroy the Mosin, but this one's in really good shape, and I'd much rather destroy one that's in terrible shape. Because in the end, I'll have it looking really good. It's just the matter of I'd much rather do it to one that's in worse shape. But figured I'd leave it out to anybody that wants to watch the video, leave a comment, give me their input. But right now, it's looking like the mare's leg. So,
okay. All right. Now I want to say thank you to everybody in the chat who stuck around for the extra 30 minutes. I've been waffling on about absolutely nothing. A bunch of useless information. I will talk to you. I'll be back on Wednesday night at 7 p.m. with Shooting with Disabilities. So I will see you all then. So where's my, so I'm getting out of here. So I want to say Good afternoon, good evening to everybody. Have a good one.
Good night, Sabrina. I almost forgot it, Rick.
Yeah, I know you did. I didn't see her in the